Hello everybody, it's Philly Kuts with another Hump Day Haul. We're up to number 90, where every week I get together with you guys and I talk about my stack of new, overpriced comic books that I get for the week. No big whoop, little rundowns and whatnot. We have a big week this week, folks. Super week. After DC Rebirth #1, now we're getting into the solo titles. And this week we have Rebirth for Batman, Superman, Green Lanterns, and Green Arrow. Now, I've gotten 3 out of 4 of those books, and you're going to find out in just a second. But before I delve into DC, which I usually do at the start of each Hump Day Haul, I wanted to start with this book, Dark Horse, Hellboy in Hell, #10, Mike Mignola, folks. For Whom the Bell Tolls, and this is being billed as the last Hellboy title that Mike Mignola is going to be doing both the artwork and the writing for. That's right, Mignola has called it quits for going double duty on Hellboy. He feels that he has just drawn all that he can draw concerning Hellboy. Now, he does have other stuff in the works, written-wise. Certainly we do have the Hellboy and the BPRD title that is going to be continuing, ongoing. But that's it. Mignola calling it quits for double duty. Now, what an amazing title. What an amazing run. Hellboy started in the 90s. And really, if you want to read a great interview with Mike Mignola, go to CBR, Comic Book Resources, and they have a great interview with Mike Mignola, and he kind of talks a little bit about the history of Hellboy, how Hellboy started really almost as a joke, almost by accident. It was something that Mignola kind of scribbled out while he was at a comic book convention, and it just went from there. I mean, this transmedia franchise that not only went on from comic books to cartoons, to movies, to even books, spanning over 2 decades. It really, really became an iconic character. And the things that Hellboy explored, the main themes, what does it mean to exist? What is my purpose? Self-reflection, how the world maybe creates an impact on us. How do we impact the world? Do we accept what the world tells us we should be, or do we reject that? And if there's one theme also that has been prevalent in the Hellboy titles, is that Hellboy has always seemed to do what is least expected of him to do, or he doesn't do what people expect him to do. Now, the title, the main billing for this last book, is saying, will Hellboy live up to what he has always been billed to live up as? I probably said that completely wrong, but I guess we're going to have to wait and see, and I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but look at this. Here's a hint. That is Hellboy. Right hand of doom flaming, his horns fully grown in, the wings out, one eye. I can't wait to read what happens. The reviews are in. Lots of 10s across the board. This is an emotional thing. Hey, look, Mignola has not been, accoladed with 12 Eisner Awards for no reason. And I want to point you guys really to that interview, because he also talks about what was the basis for Hellboy, and a lot of it is based on him, his thoughts and feelings, and also a lot of it is based, the physicality, on his father. I guess his father was a Korean War veteran, cabinet maker, was always this larger-than-life guy to Mignola, would often come home from work with a gash from blood. He'd get his hand caught in a machine while making cabinets, or he'd get blasted with a 2x4 or some piece of wood. And it really left an impression on Mignola. Another thing, this is the last time that we may see, Mignola and Stewart working together. Stewart has been the colorist on the Hellboy titles, I think, since, issue 12. I think all in all there's been 60-something issues that Mignola has done the artwork minus the coloring and the writing. And here's some of the judicious use of red in this issue. There's a little bit of some of the final battle. Another interesting thing about this issue is that Hellboy does not even utter a word. This story is actually told through the narrative of a demon that witnessed his final battle. Now, I'm wondering, last issue we were revisited, or Hellboy was revisited by his ex-wife, and he doesn't have a lot of memories of that, you know. He kind of said when he married her down in Mexico back in, what, 56, that he was kind of drunk. Kind of reminded me of Jim Morrison and the Doors. If you ever saw that Oliver Stone movie where he kind of didn't remember marrying that witch because he said it must have been during one of his blackouts. So if you want to check up or pick up a key issue, definitely get Hellboy in Hell. I don't want to show you too much of this because I don't want to spoil it for you. But many a tear is being shed because this is the end. For Hellboy, my friend. Alright, now let's get on to DC and the Rebirth titles. I got 3 of them. Let's start with Batman. Batman Rebirth. Now this is one of the titles in New 52 that didn't really need too much tinkering around with. I thought that the Capullo Scott Snyder run, which was basically for nearly every issue, I think except for the last one, was probably one of the biggest highlights of the New 52 universe. Tom King is going to become the full-time writer on this series. Scott Snyder is pulling a little bit of co-writing action in this, and we have Batman in his new suit Glory there going up against the Calendar Man, and I guess they're promising a revamped new look Calendar Man in this series. But also we are going to be seeing some exploration with Duke Thomas. Now he was the lead Robin in the We Are Robin series. It was a big series that was out. And then also there was like a whole Robin Wars series going on. Not a series, but story that I didn't read, that I didn't get into, so I can't really speak too much about that. But it's going to explore the relationship between Duke Thomas and Bruce Wayne, and Bruce tells Robin, or, sorry, Duke, that he doesn't want him to just become another Robin. And take a look at that suit, baby. Little sneak peek there. That certainly does not look like a Robin outfit, does it? So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. I'm going to be interested to see the type of relationship that Bruce has with Duke. You know, Bruce kind of has a whole new lease on life after the whole super heavy story. I'm wondering if he's going to appreciate this relationship a bit more, maybe open himself up a bit more emotionally. Those of you who may be concerned that Scott Snyder is not going to be the writer, well, rest assured Tom King has done some great work, most recently the Omega Men. Series that received mucho accolades and critical acclaim, didn't necessarily sell very well, but when that trade comes out, man, I am suggesting, highly suggesting to you guys to pick up that series, the Omega Men, and let not your heart be troubled that Tom King certainly is a good writer. Now, Superman, regarded by many as a super, you-know-what, CF of the New 52 universe, New 52 Superman perishing in the last issue. He's gone. He's dead, folks. However, this issue is going to continue to explore his death. There's also kind of like a peek and a tease that perhaps there may be a way to bring New 52 Superman back to life. Now, I guess the star of the new Superman series is going to be pre-Flashpoint Superman. He is the Superman of the Superman title, but they are going to give you a bit of a rundown of the Superman from the 90s who got killed by Doomsday. They kind of give you a whole rundown of that scenario. I think that was, what, Superman number 75. They are going to explain some differences between the Superman in this universe and the New 52 Superman. There's a great picture of Doomsday and whatnot. So I got to really delve into this issue, really get my bearings straight on this one. I know, right? I'm wearing the Superman shirt, right? And I don't really know too much about what is going on. I do know that Superman is going to be paid a visit by, oh my lord, I don't know her name. It's Elena something, I believe. This woman right here. A friend from another universe. I don't know, man. Superman's been a mess. I'm just hoping and praying that they can kind of get this series back on track. Although I must admit, I didn't mind the New 52 Superman series. I thought Gene Yang wrote some interesting things with his run on there. Peter Tomasi's last run, you know, what was it? The Death of Superman or the Final Days of Superman was pretty good. So we'll see how it goes, peeps. All right, now we got Green Lantern's Rebirth. Hal Jordan's going to be getting his own series with the Green Lantern Corps, but this one is going to be featuring two freshman Green Lanterns in Simon Bez, who was introduced in the New 52 universe, and also Jessica Cruz. So these are two rookies that have been assigned to be the Green Lanterns of Sector 2814. Within that sector is, of course, Earth, and it looks like there may be a little bit of a conflict between these two. You know, they're going to have to try to work together and straighten things out. There's an interesting little twist in here. They only have one lantern in which to charge their ring, and I guess they can only charge their rings both at the same time. So I'm wondering what wrinkle that's going to put in the story. I'm interested to see what Jeff Johns, who did pull a little bit of writing duty on here, along with, Sam Humphries. I don't know if you knew this, but I guess Jeff Johns, after whatever stuff he does here in these Rebirth books, he's going to stop writing comic books, and I guess he's taking over, you know, the screenplays for the DC movies. So I guess we'll see how that goes, man. I mean, just because someone writes a great comic book doesn't necessarily mean that the movie script is going to be a great translation. So I'm interested to see how that goes. Another interesting thing in this issue is Hal Jordan does pay the new Green Lanterns a visit to kind of give them a rundown of the rules, you know, kind of give them a rundown of the lay of the land. He also explains to them that he needs to go to the far end of the universe in another place, another time, to straighten out what the hell is going on with the Green Lantern Corps. I don't want to get into it. If you've been reading Green Lantern, you know what's going on. If you've been reading the Green Lantern Corps miniseries that have been coming out for the past couple years, you know what's going on, or at least the last year. I'm kind of exaggerating a bit. Another cool thing that is being teased in this issue is the return of the Red Lanterns. Yeah. They just got scrappy-dappy-doo with the Yellow Lanterns. I want to see what happens here, man. Because the Red Lanterns have a deep interest in planet Earth and a deep interest in these new Green Lanterns. Alright, on to Marvel, people. And I got Spider-Woman number 8. It seems like this came out just a couple weeks ago. Spider-Woman, what a great series, man. I have to say that this is probably my favorite Marvel book, probably one of my favorite series, period. Certainly my favorite series featuring a woman superhero. She certainly has passed Harley Quinn in my book. Jessica Drew, dealing not only with superheroing, but also the perils of motherhood. She's a new mother, and I gotta say that Dennis Hopeless, writer of this book, has really been writing from the heart, because he had a baby, I think, in the last couple years, and he is definitely pouring his heart and soul into this book, and I can just tell that, you know, all the frustrations and all the hopes and the worries of giving birth to a new child is being conveyed into this book. And that's what makes Spider-Woman so great, man. Not only is she a kick-ass character, we do have Javier Rodriguez back in the drawing seat in this book. You can tell because he always throws in one of these great montages. They're usually 2 pages. But here she is doing battle against the Tiger Shark, who, in case you didn't know, Tiger Shark is comprised of the DNA of Namor the Submariner and the Tiger Shark. Now, is Namor considered the poor man's Aquaman, or is it reverse? Who came first? Does anybody know? Was Namor before Aquaman, or was Aquaman before Namor? You know, it's each universe is, underwater man in this. But what really, Hopeless captures in this is kind of the balance of her superhero duties and the way that motherhood changes you, or having a child, period, changes you. Now, she does have a little bit of help from her friends, in particular the Porcupine, former Z-list villain, gone good guy. He's been stepping in quite a bit. He helps Spider-Woman with babysitting duties, and he makes an appearance here. I don't know, man. He just seems oblivious to all the chaos that's going on behind him, but that's Jessica Cruz's baby in the background. So do yourself a favor. Pick up Spider-Woman, man. You will not regret it, people. All right, I got another title. The Punisher, #2. It's back to violence with this title, people. I mean, it's been brutally violent. The first issue was a complete and utter bloodbath. You know, it was kind of a drug raid warehouse gone wrong that Punisher raided. It turns out that the dudes in this warehouse are on some type of drug that gives them enhanced strength, reflexes, and insensitivity to pain. Sounds like some kind of PCP agent, you know? It turns out that one of the people involved in this drug ring is someone that knows Punisher from the past, this guy Olaf. And then also there's like a serial killer kind of dude. This guy right here who's very sinister, let me tell you. This is what happens when you take some of that drug. Your eyes turn all red and you get crazy. But this guy is a mean SOB. They showed him in the last issue cutting off people's faces as trophies, and he's banging them up onto the wall like souvenirs, man. It was very, very Ed Geinish, very Texas Chainsaw Massacre-esque nastiness. And if you're into just bloodbaths and violence, I mean, this issue is not going to disappoint. Punisher is more brutal than ever in this series. And I can't wait to see how it goes. Writer, Becky Cloonan. Very surprised, Becky. Very surprised. Very violent. The artist, Steve Dillon, kind of, I don't know. I'm not really feeling the art, man. I just think Punisher looks really weird and strange. I don't know. I'm not feeling him. I'm thinking because maybe, you know, I've been watching the Daredevil series, and who's the guy that plays Punisher? Rosenthal or something? I don't know. I can't remember his name, but you start to get that vision, that picture of him. Honorable mention, Dolph Lundgren, way back in the day, he played Punisher, in case you don't remember. All right, I got 2 more Dark Horse books. We got the conclusion of the first chapter of Life and Death Predator, issue #4 of 4. Dan Abnett doing the writing here. Brian Alberthies doing the artwork, and Rain Barreto doing the coloring. I don't know, man. This just kind of seemed like a standard issue Predator Aliens type story. You have a group of colonial marines from the Aliens universe coming down to a planet. Oh, I don't know what it is. It's like LV something. LV 797. With these colonial marines is a representative from the infamous Weyland-Yutani, you know, that evil corporation that always wants to try to transport an alien back for study and to use and dissect and incorporate into weapons, biological, and God knows what else. This guy, this representative from Weyland-Yutani, they got recover this spacecraft. You see that spacecraft in the background? That is of interest to them. Not only is it of interest to them, it's also of interest to the predators. But wait, there's more. Not only that, on this planet there have been some pirates who also have gotten their hands and their mitts on some of the ship and the artifacts on that ship. The Colonial Marines have detained them, offered them a deal, said, hey, look, if you want your sentence reduced, because when we do get out of here, you guys are going to jail, but there may be some leniency thrown your way if you help us on this mission. We got to go in the ship, find out what's going on in there. Also, you help us fight off these predators, because they did have some tips about the predators. We'll cut you a deal. But other than that, it's just kind of standard fare, man. You know, it's some firefights between the Colonial Marines and the Predators. The Predators have kicked some ass in the first couple issues, but then the Colonial Marines have fought their way back valiantly. Do you recognize this kind of shot from the first Aliens? Yes. This is definitely an engineer ship from Prometheus, and that's where the series is going to continue in the next chapter, Prometheus. It's also going to span eventually the Predator universe, or I'm sorry, the Aliens title, and then Aliens, I think, versus Predator title. So this is going to be going on for like 17 issues. So I really hope it picks up in Prometheus, because I'm just so interested still in learning more and more about the universe. But I gotta say that this was kind of disappointing, unless they throw some kind of massive curveball at the end of this issue or during this issue. I just got to say I'm not too impressed. I'm a little disappointed, Dan, because he's been doing a wonderful job with Aquaman, and he's going to be continuing in Aquaman Rebirth with that as well. Okay, and finally, Mignolaverse, a double dose. Baltimore, Empty Graves. Christopher Golden also doing the scripting. Peter Berting, and look, lo and behold, no Dave Stewart on the colors, but I gotta tell you, Michelle Madsen steps in and does an excellent job. Like, I would not have been able to tell. If you would have told me, hey, Dave Stewart did the coloring on this issue, I would have been like, duh, yeah. So you can't tell the difference. I think that what's most intriguing about this story, other than cool-looking tree monsters that kind of remind you of Groot, is sort of the breakdown of the team here that Baltimore has assembled. In the last issue, there was a tremendous amount of infighting going on with this team. They're on the hunt. They're on the hunt for the Blood Witch of the Red King. They need to find this Blood Witch because the Blood Witch has in her possession some of the bodies of their friends. They're also burying or preparing the graves for their friends. And it's caused a lot of tension between them. In particular, between Baltimore and Father Rigo. He's one of the priests in this book. Rigo has just completely changed his stance about Baltimore. He really is starting to view him as a monster. I guess in the last storyline, The Curse of the Red King, Rigo bared witness to Baltimore torturing one of the witches before he put that witch to death. And that really off-put Rigo. Rigo was not happy with that. However, there are members in Baltimore's camp that don't appreciate Rigo. They think he's a coward. They think that whenever the going gets tough, Rigo gets going. And they're not happy or pleased with him. So I am interested to see where this goes. Is the team going to be able to gel back together? Will they find the bodies of their friends? I don't know. Is that one of them right there? I don't know. That corpse is talking. This story is going to continue their quest. They have to get to Constantinople. They learn in Constantinople that there is a royal family that is involved with this whole curse thing. And Baltimore doesn't ever seem to let me down, man. It's a great series. I love learning more and more about Baltimore. It was kind of cool at the end of the last issue as well. Baltimore gave a great dramatic speech kind of challenging his crew, saying, if you keep going with me, you will reach certain death. And if you want to leave, you can leave now. And I'm not going to tell you who stayed, who left. You just got to read the book, man. All right! That concludes another Hump Day haul. We got to go with a cover of the week. I think it's a no-brainer. In honor of my man Mike Mignola, there's Hellboy in full bloom, in blossom, flaming right hand of doom, full set of horns, spread wings. Thank you so much, Mike, for all the work that you've done for us. I'm going to miss seeing Hellboy drawn by you. And just what a wonderful thing, man. It really kind of flew under the radar, man. I don't think a lot of people knew that this was coming. Hellboy in Hell was supposed to be a lot more than 10 issues, peeps. But Mignola did it. He pulled the trigger, and that's it. And he crafted an amazing story. All right, guys, it's been another Hump Day haul. Let me know what you're liking, what you're disliking. And I'll see you in a week, peeps.